David, what happened to Subway? Just a few years ago, they were the alternative. I remember the campaign, Eat Fresh.
Yep, absolutely. Good morning, Steph. So, Subway is a true American success story. It's, like you say, it's built its business on this Eat Fresh positioning, and it was really the pioneer in a build-your-own sandwich, which we see most upscale fast food, fast casual players doing. But it's really been a victim of its own success. It's really saturated the market. It's got over 27,000 locations now. The unit economics are very tough, and while it's been doing that, competitors have come in, whether other sandwich chains like Jimmy John's or Jersey Mike's or Firehouse Subs, or the bakery cafe segment, Panera Bread and those types of places, have really come in and have provided an alternative to consumers that has caused Subway to suffer some sales.
David, how much of it has to do with the economics of being a franchisee in the Subway network? I remember speaking to Fred DeLuca a few years ago in which he predicted that Subway would eventually get to 100,000 franchise locations, which seems mind-boggling. But I also talked to him about complaints. I had read many complaints from franchisees that they were getting, to be not so polite about it, screwed by Subway.
Yeah, well, listen, Subway is 100% franchised. All 27,000 plus locations are franchised. And the challenge with them is that the average Subway does about $475,000 a year. So really, if you're going to be a Subway owner or franchisee, you need to own a lot of Subways in order to make it work. And as the chain grew and there's now 27,000 plus locations, obviously there's been a lot of encroachment on territory, and it's become very difficult to grow that number beyond 500,000. And when you look at some of their competitors that do $700,000, $800,000 per store, or even over $1 million, the economics get very challenging for a Subway franchisee.
David, is one of the issues, though, as far as marketing or menu changes or expansion, they haven't really focused there. Their focus has just been expansion in terms of number of stores. As I said, I thought of Eat Fresh. That campaign has to be 5 years old.
Well, it really is. I mean, I think their growth strategy has been unit expansion, and as a result, the unit economics has suffered. And so when you look at the opportunities for them going forward, they've been very promotional driven. The $5 footlong still resonates with many consumers, even though it's been several years since they used that. And being promotional driven, they are very susceptible to cost increases. And I think that's part of what's happened, is that the costs have gone up. They've cut back a little bit, and perceptions of quality among consumers in our research certainly has suffered, because it seems that they may probably have cut back a little bit on ingredient quality, and as a result, the overall experience has suffered from the consumer perspective as well.
David, is there a point at which a company like Subway franchises out, that you have too many franchise locations and there's no longer sort of marginal benefit from each additional location that you're able to open?
Wait, you think Subways across from Subways aren't a good idea?
And they exist, of course, just like Starbucks across from Starbucks
exist. You could drink 6 Starbucks in a day. I mentioned to Tom Keene, you're not eating 6 turkey subs, I hope.
Yeah, I think the challenge for them is that, unit growth has been, even last year they grew 3% in terms of units, even as their total sales declined about 3%. And so, I think their growth strategies need to focus more on making the units healthy. A couple years ago, they tried to build a breakfast day part. They're really lunch-driven right now. You look, a huge part of their sales are lunch, and they're not doing anything at breakfast, and the dinner day part is very underdeveloped as well. And so I think part of their growth strategy has to be not necessarily continuing to just open more units, but also make the individual units and franchisees healthy enough that they can grow their same-store sales, as opposed to just adding new units every year.
All right, David, thank you so much for joining us. I got to ask you,
Sure.
since you cover, do you like Subway? I mean, you must eat at all of them. You cover the food service industry. Do you like it?
I do eat at Subway, and my kids are big fans of the turkey sandwich, so we go there quite a bit, actually.